Hi, and welcome to Platteville Fantasy Podcast Show, episode number 25. Silver Age of the Platteville Podcast Show. But anyway, get down to it. Some key wins this week, some key losses this week, but now it's a little bit tighter for both all the playoff positions and the top two, the buys, the number one in the West and number one in the East. So, getting kind of exciting out there. But to get it all started with, the game of the week that I predicted from last week, just by looking at matchups, came down to be the only kind of game of the week. The only real nail biter of the week was me taking down Bill 107 to 104. Bill being the only team to score 100 and lose. So I'll give you the who got screwed for the week, even though you were bottom 9 in points, but still, only team. Really close 3 points. Really came down to me matching up with Bill at the right time, but that's kind of how this middle of the fantasy league is with buys and everything. He didn't have AP or Steve Smith, but you don't see me crying about that. My defense, Kansas City's defense scores 50, then 28, then I put them in, and they scored 0 and lose to Miami. Who would have thunk that? But it kind of screwed me in pick'em and survival, so no big deal. But that really got the West going there, bringing Bill down to 6, or keeping him at 6 wins, and then Jameson and I are moving to 6 wins as well. So there's 5 teams with 6 wins. So it's pretty exciting, actually. Sometimes football doesn't turn out this way. Anyway, moving on to your next matchup. This is the one I was predicting. Also, not the matchup of the week, but I would have bet on this one. Apollo taking down Mitch 132. The red hot Apollo 132, beating Mitch by 96. Mitch, you're averaging now, after that week, about 5 touchdowns a week, but you only scored 1 this week, so that was a big hit on you. Should have played Debo over Vic. Come on. Who doesn't know that? Yeah, you got some good matchups coming up. Not this upcoming one, but you definitely played Brendo and Jordan, so I think you're sitting pretty good at a playoff spot, but you're losing your ground in the bye. But you definitely have enough points to survive that bye, especially in your division. But Apollo making his case for a playoff spot, having rookie Julio Jones come back. They had a good week for you. You're definitely on a roll. Dallas Clark is out for you. So that might be, I know it's only a tight end position, but this year tight ends have been pretty important, but he's out. Your defense, Rams defense at 2 safeties? Come on. Anyway. Your next matchup was your big championship. Your Jason's going 161, and in fact, that's like really close to Mitch's top for the season, which was 164. So that was a big week for you. You got plenty of points. You just got to get yourself wins to get back into this. You got more points than I do. You got more points than Bill. So, and you got more points than Kai and Fred, who are also in the playoff mix. So you're looking pretty good. John, man, just getting screwed. You're just looking at the little thing up there. You're averaging, your opponent is averaging 131.44. I don't know if that's quite accurate, but you have a lot of points against. You are just getting screwed like crazy. I mean, 971 with points, you're kind of where you shouldn't be in the playoff, or in our side of points, but I think it's just the divisions, the way they kind of came out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 6 1,000 pointers in your division. So what happens? You just look at Danber and Pete also have 1,000 points against. So yeah, sorry, John, man. Miles Austin's 2 to 4 weeks again. It's gonna be hard for you to make the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie, but you can be a big help to other people. You and Mitch are matched up next week, so that should be a good matchup. You got the runt of the week with your -3 on defense, Oakland's defense against Denver. I would have done the same thing. Oakland or Kansas City against Miami, and Oakland against Denver. I would have picked those defenses too. NFL, any given Sunday, right? Your next matchup is kind of a who cares matchup. That's Drew taking down Brian. Drew winning for the second straight week, trying to make himself relevant. I don't know how good that's gonna be, but he is taking down important people in front of him, like the Pack Attack losing for the second straight week, missing the Packers 2 weeks ago, and missing Cam Newton this week. Maybe he'll bounce back though. Next matchup, big victory for Jameson, scoring lots of points with 131. Kind of weird you didn't start Phillip Rivers, but you would know better than that than I would. Burrs, come on. Your bench scored. Your bench outscored your starters. I think your starters at 64 and your bench had like 85. Mitch had the numbers of how much better. You wouldn't have won, but still, come on. You can't not start Aaron Rodgers. You guys need to win. You don't have the points to survive. So that was a big loss for you. But you're still in at 5 wins. You still are definitely contenders. Yeah. Next matchup, Bunker. You're lucking out on matchups. You and Pete. I guess I'm a little bit implying this. Was there a little collusion between you guys? I don't see why Pete would. Pete's not a saboteur of his own team. I mean, other than the fact that he may not pick good guys, he doesn't not start people. Pete is a competitive guy. I feel like he's 23. I mean, kind of weird he had Stafford and somebody else in there. I don't know. Oh, Bunker. Here's a note from Mitch. If you would have started Ford over I can't read my own handwriting, over your guy that scored -2, you actually would have had the best week of the year. Mitch has the 164. You would have had 169. So you had a good week though, 145. You could have beaten lots of people, but you got Pete this week. You got Brendo next week. You're looking good. You're moving right in 7th right now. Chicken nuggets are done. Okay. Yeah. So you're looking very good, having the second most points in the league. This is something that's kind of getting by me. So you're looking very good at trying to make a run for not only a playoff spot, which you're not in quite yet, but first week bye in the playoffs, which is huge. But yeah, definitely a big week. I had that written down twice. Big week for you. Kai, again, same with you. You're not so much in the same ballpark with points as Bunker is, but you moved right into the 6th spot. You have 5 wins, but you happen to have 3 losses because of that tie. So big. This is an easy win for you. It wasn't as easy as Brendo usually has it. This is the first time in 4 weeks that Brendo hasn't scored in the 40s, but he did score in the 70s for you. So yeah, you need to have your Run DMC and Andre Johnson back if you're going to make any push. But if those guys are back, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And you have Pete this week. You and Bunker are swapping bad teams to play against, so you guys are looking mighty fine. Yeah, so that's your matchups for the week. For standings, this is where it gets kind of interesting. At the bottom of the East, it's not. I think most of you guys probably know this, but you're out. Brendo, you're pretty much out at 16 with 2-7. Jordan, I think you may have packed your bags on this league. You did try pretty hard. You do have a lot of points against you, so I'll give you that. And 882 isn't horrible. I mean, you still have more points than Dan Burr. Drew, you're trying. If you stay hot, you're gonna have to stay hot for these last couple of weeks, these last 4 weeks to get into the playoffs. Brian, you got one more win than Drew. 4 wins, you're definitely still in it. Your points are not gonna help you though. Yeah, you're losing 2 in a row. That was pretty bad. Up in the West, Pete, I think you're out of it too. 4 weeks. Your best you can finish is 6 and 7. So with those points, I think you're out. Ja, man, you got enough points, but you're gonna have to roll. You got a big matchup this week against Mitch. Um, yeah, you're just gonna have to definitely have to win. You're definitely gonna have to beat teams that are above you. Uh, Jason, you're looking a little bit, in the 10th spot, 4-5 with all those points. You're definitely in it. Danbury, you just gotta start your players at 5-4. That record, this is very tight when it comes to the 4 wins to the 6 win teams. The 3 win teams are a bit on the outside looking at it, but yeah, at the top of the West, this is where it gets interesting. 4 game winner are in a row. 5-4 Apollo. Looking very strong. Those points are skyrocketing up. Apollo, you're definitely in. Apollo. Kai, 5-3 also. Your points are decent. Looking good. You got an easy matchup this week. Fred, 6-3. Nobody scores points against you, Fred. As I saw back here. Fred, where'd you go? Fred, there. Ja is getting 130 some points scored against him. You're getting only 87 points scored against you on average. So, I mean, you got still an okay team, like 987, but for you to be a half game out of a bye is just ridiculous. But anyway, and Mitch, you're looking pretty good. Best record still, and by far the most points. So, other than the fact that you haven't won in 3 weeks, though, that really killed you. On the top of the West, where it's just really strong. Bunker at 5-4 with the second most points, looking good. 2 wins in a row. It's definitely gonna be 3 wins in a row. Come next week. Uh, Bill still looking good even after that loss. Lots of points. 6 wins. Now it's gonna be this crazy race. I feel like between Jameson, me, both at 6-3, you and Bunker for whoever gets the bye. Maybe Danbury is the wild card in that one. And the crazy wild card would be if Jason get back in. But there's only 4 weeks left. And that's your standings for this week. Looking ahead, we got interleague play this week. Playing against the different conferences. The who cares games of the week and my stone cold lead pipe locks are Danbury beats Jordan, Kai beats Pete, and Bunker beats Brendo. Those are just wins to me. The Jordan Danbury, that might be a bit different. It's all depending on if you Jordan look or if you Danbury. There's little things in that one. That's kind of a different one, but definitely your third tier one, Bill versus Drew. It's a big matchup. I mean, there's all big matchups towards the end, but I mean that one's not quite there. Bill, you should probably definitely win that game. But your second tier-ish one is Mitch versus Ja, only because Ja is so far down. But this is going to be a big one. Ja Man has a strong team, and Mitch is struggling. So this could be a big turning point in the season. And then your huge matchups this week. Your number 2 in the West and your number 2 in the East. Fred and me both have 3 game winning streaks coming at each other. And Jameson versus Apollo. Jameson being the top team in the West, and Apollo being the hottest team in the league right now with 4 wins. Those are your matchup. That's your looking ahead. And then a little note about hockey. Sorry, it's the Tauntauns from The Empire Strikes Back, Mitch. I'm sorry. But Apollo and Mitch are undefeated so far. Bill has not won a week, but he has 6 moves on the year. That's pretty much it on hockey. It's a long season, so not much to talk about in the beginning. Pick'em. There's games Thursday, so both football and pick'em and survival. There's games Thursday, so keep your eye out for it. That's your show. Good luck this week. I'm sending out. Adios.